Hi everyone, I'm Atacan. I decided to make Linux tutorials because I like Linux. I support free and open software. I'm gonna take the LPI certification exam, and as long as I study, I'm gonna add different videos. This is chapter 1. First of all, Linux is actually the name of the operating system kernel. You see lots of different Linux versions. Ubuntu is the most popular one. Also, Debian, Fedora, SUSE or OpenSUSE, Mint, Backbox, and more. Well, why is that? Because companies take the Linux kernel and add their program on it and develop their kernels, make their own distribution. For example, I use Kali Linux because lots of penetration testing tools on it. All distributions have their own purposes. Linux kernel is modular. What does it mean? It means you can insert or remove modules while the system is running. Drivers and services can be added into kernel as modules. We're gonna cover that later. For now, I'm just passing. And by the way, this is Tux, the Linux mascot, if you're asking what that is. Now, what's booting? Press the power of your PC and the kernel loads into the RAM and you see the login screen. This is actually booting. A computer has a main board and a main board has a chip called BIOS, basic input output system. And BIOS chip has its BIOS software pre-installed in flash memory or read-only memory of the main board. When you press the power button, BIOS is responsible for finding kernel and load into the RAM. This is the sequence of BIOS missions. First, it checks CMOS setup, loads interrupt handlers and drivers, then perform the post. I'm gonna tell you later what they are. Then displays the system settings and initiate the bootstrap or boot sequence. After the post is done, BIOS checks the bootable devices. If you get in the BIOS settings, you can see the order of the boot devices. Generally, the first one is hard drive, the second one is CD, DVD-ROM, the third is USB drive, and so. BIOS looks for the bootloader to start the booting sequence. All hard drives consist of sectors, and the first sector holds the master boot record, which is the first 5 and 1200 bytes. It is a small memory and it holds the bootloader software. Bootloader software, which is master boot code. Uh, BIOS checks the master boot records, and if there is the master boot code, loads it into the RAM. Master boot code is responsible for keeping information of where the kernel is in the hard drive. After the code loads into the RAM, CPU knows where the kernel is and CPU can load it into RAM. Linux kernel is loaded by two types of bootloader. One is Lilo, which is the old one, and the other is Grub, which is the new. A bootloader also provides you to select different operating systems, different kernels, or different modes. This is the group bootloader. The version says 1.99. This boot menu can be customized by editing etc/group.conf or boot/group/group.conf. It depends on which distribution you use. You see the boot menu and select the operating system and press enter. Then the kernel starts to load into RAM. kernels is stored actually as compressed in hard disk, and it extracts itself. It checks the hardware and configure drivers. After you press enter, you see bunch of codes showing up on the screen. They are the log messages of configurations or checks. Then kernel mounts the root file system and run init process, which is stored in sbin/init. By the way, in Linux, every program is a file. Init is the first process when the operating system runs. It is the mother of all the processes, and it creates the all processes. Its process ID is always 1. It is responsible for running the programs according to configuration of etc/init file. The kernel is loaded and there is a login screen. Linux needs authentication to log in. You can see the graphical environment or the text-based environment. Again, it depends on your distribution. You may see text-based login screen usually in server distributions like Fedora. The environment decision is stored in etc/init file. About logging in, enter the username prompt, then enter the password, then prompt, and you're in. The user account information is stored in etc/password file. And these are the shutdown commands. I'm gonna explain what they are in the end of the video. Now let's take some exercises in Linux. Now I'm gonna show you the init file. I use less because less is more. The init file. It says my default run level is 2 because I use Kali. You may have different value. These are the other run levels, and there are 7 run levels. 0 is halt, 1 is single user mode, 6 to 5 are multi-user modes, and 2 to 5 are multi-user mode, and 6 is reboot. Now let's look at user account info in passwd file. It says my name, root, my shell in bash, and lots of things. Let's look at switching run levels. Now I'm in the second default and want to switch run level. It is done by init command. Init 0, the system halts. Init 6, system reboots. I want to switch text-based single user mode, which is run level 1, and I write init 1. Now I'm in run level 1. This is the text-based single user mode. To go back default mode, call init 2 because 2 is my default. Switching to run level 2. Yeah, it switched. Well, what happens during this switching? Every run level has its services to run. Let's look at run level 0. services in RC directories. RC0 for run level 0 and list. Yeah, these are the services, yeah, actually service missions of run level 0, and all of them start with K. Now I'm looking at the service of run level 1, rc1.d list. Can you see a difference? This time some of them start with S. S means start the service, K means kill the service. So when switching run level to the first, the services with K are killed and the ones with S are started. There is the reason why all the services start with K in run level 0. Now take a look at our default runner, the second. More stuff with S. Well, I want a service to run default in a run level. What am I supposed to do? For example, Apache 2 is killed in this run level, but I want it to be live. So update rc command helps us. I'm just writing update rc.d Apache 2 and enable. And enter. Let's see our service again. Yeah, Apache 2 starts in run level 2. If I want to disable it, I'm writing disable instead of enable. And Apache 2 is killed again. And this is the second run level services. Let's look at the 6. You see all services are killed if you run level 6, just like level 0. About shutting down, I can shut down the system by using init 0, but also there is a second way. I can halt or reboot the system with shutdown command, just writing shutdown +10 H for halt, message to be broadcasted. The message is optional. This is a message. System is going down in 10 minutes. To cancel it, press Ctrl C. You can enter the exact time in shutdown. Now I'm writing shutdown and the exact time, and R for restart. And cancel it again. Now I'm gonna halt it immediately, just writing shutdown, shutdown, H for halt, the last parameter is now. Yeah, it's halting now. So that's all, guys. This is my first tutorial. Maybe it's not exactly a tutorial. I'm gonna keep the videos short. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.